This is the all-new Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT, and right now it holds the world record for being the fastest SUV to ever lap the Nürburgring, which is one of the most notoriously challenging racetracks in the whole world. And if that means absolutely nothing to you, don't worry, because this SUV offers so much more to get really excited about.
For more expert car reviews, don't forget to share our channel and subscribe so you can catch some of this and maybe even a little of that.
So visually, there's a couple things that differentiate the Turbo GT model from your regular Cayenne or even the Turbo Cayenne. First of all, it sits 17 millimeters lower, which is great for handling. And then there's this amazing sparkly sage green paint color, which, if I'm reading the spec sheet right, is a $13,000 option, which sounds like a lot, but it looks fantastic, so I'm a big fan. I'm also obsessed with these huge matte gold wheels. Like, this combination together looks amazing, and I've been getting compliments about it all week long. And of course, there's carbon fiber everywhere, side mirrors, the whole roof. This portion of the spoiler is carbon fiber and is unique to this model. The rear diffuser is also carbon fiber. And this model is available exclusively as an SUV coupe, which means it has this nice sloping roofline, which means it looks great, but it's not so great for the people sitting back there because it impacts how much headroom they have. The other thing about it being an SUV coupe is that it has slightly less cargo space than what you'd find in a typical Cayenne, but being an SUV, there's still tons of room for all your stuff, so I think you should be okay. And I gotta say, I don't normally like SUV coupes because most of them end up looking really awkward, and Porsche's Cayenne coupe is the only one that looks correct. So this is my friend Baris from work. We work together at AutoTrader. He's some sort of analytics genius.
I'll take that. I appreciate it.
Is that your official job title?
Sure.
Okay,
Let
awesome.
that be from today.
Perfect. We'll put it on your performance review and your business cards and everything. So he's a big Porsche enthusiast slash snob. See?
Sure.
This is his Boxster behind us. And we always talk in the office. He's like, Jodi, what are you driving this week? And I said, oh, I'm in a Cayenne Turbo GT. And what did you say?
Meh.
So unenthused by this. And I was like, why? Why don't you like this car?
I don't know. I mean, being close to it, it actually doesn't look too bad. But in general, I do not like large cars, as you can tell. And when I think about the brand Porsche, I always think about the coupes, the 911s, Caymans, and Boxsters. So I probably need some time to get used to this.
I'm here to prove you wrong.
Sure, let's do
go.
it.
So we're gonna go for a drive now.
Ooh.
Mr. Skeptic seems pretty excited.
I'm excited. I'm genuinely
Okay,
excited.
I'm gonna fire it up.
It sounds good.
I mean, come on, right?
It does sound good, yeah.
As an automotive enthusiast, how can you not get giggly when you hear that
I am
gurgling,
giggly
right?
inside. I'm giggly inside for sure.
Your outside is stoic, but your inside is on fire.
Let's give it
All
a
right,
go.
let's go. Let's put
All
up these
right.
windows.
All right.
We'll just go for a little rip. Kind of just want to show you what this is all about. Right? Like, come on.
That is quick. Holy
It is so quick.
That is quick.
This is an SUV, right?
Ooh.
And the fact that it is so big and so heavy and can still make a Boxster guy react like that,
Yeah, no, that was
that
quick.
is what
That
it's
was
all
quick.
about. And I'll just slow it down and let that guy get ahead so we can just do another
Are you on
watch.
sport mode?
I'm in, well, I can put it in Sport Plus.
Sport Plus.
Yeah.
Let's do
Ready?
this.
Woo! And we're breaking all the laws.
Holy
yeah,
sh-
right.
Holy
But also these brakes.
Holy
So good. And you can use these brakes again and again and again, and there's like zero fade. It's amazing.
That's awesome. That's quick. What's the 0 to 60 on this?
It's like 3.3 seconds.
Yeah, it feels like it for sure.
And I really love the way the speed like just builds like that, because you've been with me in other like really fast cars
Yes,
before.
I
You've
have.
driven a 911 with me. You've driven a Lamborghini with me. And the way this builds is just so natural and progressive. I could do this again and again. Like,
Fast. The other thing that surprised me is that you don't really expect this from a car like this, right? Like it's
Because
big,
it's an SUV?
It's an SUV, and yeah, I was not expecting this at all. So
I
it's
mean,
pretty quick.
if you look at it, this is basically the same engine in the platform as like the Lamborghini Urus, right? But if I had to choose, I think I'd choose this one. It's more my style.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, while we were talking outside, I don't think I'm not an SUV guy. I have a small family and I don't like big cars. So I don't think I would ever buy an SUV, but if I had to choose between the Lambo and this guy, definitely this one for sure.
Have we
For
changed
sure.
your minds though about SUVs
Not
in
yet. You
general?
gotta work a little harder,
Yeah?
Jodi.
Okay.
Little harder.
Yeah, and I'm sure your Boxster feels like way more engaging. And that's the thing about this, is that like, yes, it's fast, but like, no, it will not be as engaging as a 911 or a Cayman or a Boxster, because those cars just allow you to feel more of what's going on.
That's the thing, right? Like
Yeah.
my car is not fast at all. It has like 240, 250 horsepower, and but it's a manual, right? And it's low, and then you can take the corners really quick, and then you just like feel the road, feel everything that happens on the road. Like it's more analog, if you will.
Exactly, and I do feel like in this Cayenne, it isolates you a bit from all of those like feelings,
Yep.
which takes away from the experience.
It does.
But for what it is, I'm really impressed.
No, it is a quick vehicle for sure. For sure.
So this Cayenne Turbo GT is the top of the line Cayenne you can buy. It is the most expensive and the fastest one, so you know it has to be special. It's powered by a 4-liter twin-turbo V8, and it is honestly one of my favorite engines in existence. It has 631 horsepower and 626 pound-feet of torque or something like that, and it's 90 more horsepower and about 60 more pound-feet of torque than the regular Cayenne Turbo, which is a significant upgrade. And that gets you from 0 to 100 in 3.3 seconds, which is absolutely crazy considering how big and heavy this SUV is. I'm so impressed. So besides having absolutely thunderous power and acceleration, this 8-speed PDK transmission is probably perfect. It's honestly so intuitive, and for some reason always knows what I want to do. So the other day I was just cruising on the highway in 8th gear, and I just thought about passing someone, and then immediately it dropped into 3rd, and boom, I was breaking like 10 laws. It is so crazy to me how fast and intuitive this transmission is. I'm really impressed, again. And so because this is a Porsche, driving dynamics are the #1 most important thing. And I can tell you that it does not disappoint. So one big highlight is the steering. Like all other Porsches, it is laser precise and so responsive. It is absolutely perfectly weighted. So it's really fun just to hustle this guy around corners. The other thing is the suspension. So I honestly thought that it was going to murder me over rough roads. But honestly, in regular driving setting, it is so comfortable, and it gets a lot stiffer when you put it in Sport or Sport Plus. It has this 3-chamber air suspension that is just magical. It's great for every situation. And as far as driving engagement goes, this part seems kind of obvious to me, but I know some of you might be thinking it. No, it's not going to give you that same level of engagement as a 911 or a Cayman or something like that, just because that's the nature of this being an SUV. And Baris was saying earlier when we were driving around that compared to his Boxster, this Cayenne really kind of like isolates you from all the sensations that a performance car usually has. And so that's just something to keep in mind. It's obviously not a deal breaker, but you really can't compare it to a 911 because it's two totally different beasts. A huge highlight with the driving experience is how well this SUV corners. It honestly feels so much smaller and lighter than it is. In addition to all the power and all that, it's great, but it also has rear axle steering, which is fantastic because it makes the Cayenne feel shorter, and it kind of makes it feel like it has a shorter wheelbase than it actually does, which means it feels more nimble and more stable at high speeds. And I swear, I've been ripping this thing through corners and it feels like it has so much more to offer. And I am not nearly a good enough driver to get the absolute most that you can get out of this car. But I still think that the driving dynamics are so impressive. And the fact that it did the Nürburgring in record time is just something nice you can brag about at a cocktail party, which is kind of cool. The other part of the puzzle is the brakes. So this has Porsche's famous ceramic composite brakes, and I love them because the stopping power is so intensely strong without it being too grabby. You know, sometimes performance brakes can feel really grabby and touchy, which makes the drive really jerky. This doesn't have that problem. They're also very quiet. So a lot of performance brakes are kind of squeaky before they warm up. These don't have that problem at all, and I love them. And you can use them again and again and just keep stomping on it, and it will provide you the exact same strong stopping power every single time. So inside, there's a lot to get excited about. The whole interior is covered in this gorgeous Alcantara. It looks expensive, it feels expensive, there's carbon fiber everywhere. I absolutely love it. I do have one major complaint, and it's that this black plastic touch panel by the gear shifter gets so dusty so quickly, and you can see all my greasy fingerprint smudges on it. It's really gross, and I just wish Porsche would stop using it because I don't like it at all. But other than that, everything in here is obviously amazing. The fit and finish is pristine, like nothing is out of place, which is the way it should be considering how much money this costs. I am really grateful now that Android Auto is finally included in this Porsche Cayenne, although it is not wireless. Apple CarPlay is wireless, but not Android Auto. And it makes really great use of all the real estate in the screen, which is amazing. Although I do wish the integration was a little bit better. Like, for example, if I'm using Google Maps, I would have loved to be able to see the navigation directions in the head-up display, but it doesn't do that. Minor issue, not a big deal, but still something I wanted to point out. So about pricing. You can tell I'm not a rich person because I nearly had a heart attack when I found out how much this car goes for. So it starts at $209,000. As equipped here, it went up to $225,000, which is a ton of money. And listen, I get it. It feels worth it. But for performance cars like supercars and Lamborghinis and stuff like that, it is very normal to take things away that don't contribute to how fast you can go. So if it doesn't contribute to speed, you sacrifice it right away, and I totally understand that. That being said, this is still an SUV, and it has a GT badge on it, which means that comfort is still one of the considerations that you need. And so the fact that this doesn't have something like ventilated seats at this price point is a little bit disappointing. And I say this with pretty much every Porsche I'm lucky enough to review. I absolutely love what they do, but I have the same complaint every single time, is that they charge extra for nearly everything. Even the fancy gas cap costs an extra $120. I just wish they would throw in more stuff as standard. But again, like, I'm approaching this as somebody who is not rich. So if you do have the money to drop on an SUV like this, those little things probably don't mean anything to you. So don't listen to me. I'm just jealous. To recap, I love that the Cayenne Turbo GT sounds like money, that the driving dynamics are perfect, and it looks absolutely incredible. I'm not a huge fan of all the dust on that touch panel or the fact that it has a lot of missing features for the price. I think Baris's reaction says it all. Even for a traditional Porsche enthusiast, this Cayenne Turbo GT does it all and checks all those boxes. As a daily driver, it's awesome. As a performance car, it slays. It really has that prestige and like ooh la la that really gets me going. And so for the perfect one-car garage, if you have the money to spend on something like this, this is a fantastic SUV to spend it on.